I think it was the year of my election, in Atlantic Monthly. It was a profile on Tim Gill and what he accomplished here in Colorado Plain. And in the first paragraph of that article, he said, "Our plan is to make sure there is never another Rick Santorum elected to a national office." My opponent spoke at the Human Rights Campaign. My opponent was a pro-life Democrat, son of Bob Casey, one of the great social conservative leaders, maybe last social conservative leader of the Democratic Party. And he was wrapped himself in his father, but he embraced the gay and lesbian community like no other candidate had. He went out and spoke and did fundraisers, estimates millions, certainly millions in direct contribution. And I believe over 10 million in indirect contributions starting in my race 18 months. Why? Because I had the temerity to stand up in 2003 before any of this started to roll, before Lawrence versus Texas was even decided, and I fired a shot across the bow of the United States Supreme Court and said, "Supreme Court, you can decide this case the right way and say, you know, the sodomy statute is violent of equal protection and everything will be fine. But if you say there's a constitutional right to consensual sexual activity, Katie, bar the door." And that's what they did. When I said that, I didn't compare anything. I said that if the Supreme Court gives the right of individuals the constitutional right to consensual sexual activity, then you have the right to incest, you have the right to all sorts, polygamy, you name it. You have the right to anything if it's consent. When I said that, the gay community went ballistic. And they came after me. The mainstream media called for me to resign because I was comparing homosexuality with incest and other things. No, I wasn't. I was saying that if the standard is consent, then how do you rationally draw the line? You can't. And they aren't. And subsequent to that, the Massachusetts decisions and others came down, and I stood for marriage. I was the one with Wayne Allard, and Marilyn Musgrave, two great warriors here in Colorado, who stood for, and we forced a vote on the federal marriage amendment. But ladies and gentlemen, we have this issue before us again today, and it's within our party. And we need to talk about it. There's some in our party who say, well, if New York wants to pass same-sex marriage, that's fine with me. Some who say, well, I'm not going to get involved in what states do. It's their business. Abraham Lincoln said it best. We do not have the right to do wrong. States do not have the right to destroy the American family. It is your business. It is not and should not. It is not fine with me that New York has destroyed marriage. It is not fine with me that New York is setting a template that will cause great division in this country. There is not 50 definitions of marriage.